Ladies and gentlemen, can Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka defeat William Ruto in 2027 minus the support of Raila Odinga? That is the question which most Kenyans are currently asking. And I want us to answer that question right now.
Ni hesabu rahisi sana. In fact, mambo yetu is too far. 2 years. Ni bali sana. Hiyo ndio shida yetu. Lakini tutavumilia tu pole pole mpaka ikue. So mimi nataka Bishop niseme thank you very much. Viongozi wetu, thank you very much. We are good partners. We shall work with you. Na sisi ni wangwana. Na sisi tukiamua haturudi nyuma. We told William Ruto we shall make you president, and we did. Kufika akatugeuka, akakuwa mjeuri. Tumemalizana na yeye. We are now in a new formation na nyinyi na wengine. Na sisi we don't go backwards. Tukiamua ni kwenda mbele. Hata huyu mzee Raila akitaka kushikana, there is no problem. Our journey is unstoppable with or without him. There is no issue. And we are not desperate for his participation. The numbers are good. We have interrogated the numbers na ziko sawa. Na itakuwa ni mambo rahisi sana.
Because two things are not very clear. Number one, Raila Odinga is likely to support William Ruto's re-election in 2027. Which means Raila Odinga might not support Rigathi and Kalonzo. The second thing which is also very clear is that a very strong camp which is being led by Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka has emerged. And for us to answer the question as to whether Kalonzo and Rigathi Gachagua can defeat William Ruto minus the support of Raila Odinga, we need to go back to 2022 and figure out how the voting pattern took place. In 2022, William Ruto defeated Raila Odinga. And most of Raila Odinga supporters believe up to now that William Ruto rigged that election. But the truth of the matter is that William Ruto figured out that the Kikuyu votes and the Kalenjin votes enjoyed what Mutahi Ngunyi called at that time tyranny of numbers. William Ruto only needed to get a few votes here and there to balance the equation. And that's why it was easy for him to rig the election without Azimio complaining so much. In 2027, all that is changing. The mountain has drifted away from William Ruto. Mount Kenya gave William Ruto the highest number of votes in 2027. The other fact is that William Ruto has also lost the support because of the promises he made, because of the promises which he made, which is yet to fulfill, because of the failure of his government, and of course, the rage against him by the agencies. And the question now is, can Kalonzo and Rigathi defeat Ruto minus the support of Raila Odinga? Because right now, if Raila Odinga were to support Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka, the history of William Ruto would have been done, dusted, and buried. But can Raila Odinga change the tide in favor of William Ruto? Before we get into all those details, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two. Click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let me dive straight to the point. In my own opinion, and I could be wrong, a combined force of Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka can actually defeat William Ruto in 2027.
Saa hii huyu Raila Odinga akimwambia Ruto amuoshe miguu atamuosha. Because amekwama. Ni kama mgonjwa akiwa katika ICU ako kwa life support machine. Life support machine ya William Ruto today ni Raila Odinga. Ikizimwa kisha. And it is because yeye alitudharau. akifikiria sisi ni watu tu kawaida. Sasa yeye ni minority. Hii uchaguzi sisi tukiweka candidate yetu, hii mzee aunge mkono, kama atamuunga mkono mwingine asimame, William Ruto atakuwa namba 4 ama namba 3 akijaribu. I want to tell you, because yeye alifika kiwango when my people walimpigia kura, akafikiria yeye ndio kiongozi ya watu ya mlima, na tulimuonea huruma tu, kwa sababu tuliambiwa yeye ni mtu ya Mungu. Yeye alilia, alikuwa anafunga kuku, akatudanganya mpaka hao mabishop akadanganya kila mtu. Sasa akafikiria yeye ni mwerevu kuliko kila mtu. So please, I have come with one message. Please, my people, this thing is done, is finished. Only one thing, let's stay together. Ndio naona wanalala wakiandika mapost kuattribute to Senator ya Kitui, wanajaribu kutugawanya. Wanafikiria sisi ni wajinga. We are not stupid. Sisi ni watu ambaye tumesoma.
But they must be very strategic and smart. I was shocked yesterday when I offered my unsolicited advice to Rigathi to stop being overconfident. Because William Ruto is a very shrewd politician. And most of you thought that, umekula pesa ya blah blah. No, I don't do that. Mine is to analyze. The first thing they can do, which will guarantee them first round win, is for Kalonzo Musyoka and Rigathi Gachagua to agree to sacrifice their own ambitions and support either Fred Matiang'i or George Natembeya as the presidential candidate. The nomination of those two individuals with their support will disrupt William Ruto's equation. William Ruto's equation for 2027 is very simple. William Ruto is hoping that the Rift Valley will vote for him again, is hoping to get 20 to 30% of the mountain, and William Ruto is also hoping to win the support of the Luo nation, and his main focus is the Luo nation. Basically, what is calling the Western Alliance. Now, if Rigathi and Kalonzo were to decide, let us support Matiang'i or Natembeya, they will disrupt William Ruto in his schemes. Natembeya would be ideal. A presidential candidate from the Luo nation would actually seal the entire Luo nation from William Ruto. Which means William Ruto will have to go back to the drawing board. Even Matiang'i, the same. So if they're keen, if they're serious, let them pursue that route. That's number one. Do you think they can sacrifice their ambitions for Matiang'i or Natembeya? The second thing they can do is to craft an elaborate vote protection unit for 2027. One of the reasons Raila Odinga could not petition the IBC results in court successfully is because they failed to craft an elaborate vote protection unit. In 2017, Raila Odinga did that and he succeeded. Because I want to assume, based on what I'm observing, that based on the range of the mountain, they are not going to vote for Ruto. The entire Kamba nation is not going to vote for Ruto if Kalonzo were to be the presidential candidate. Of course, there are so many Kenyans who are tired with William Ruto already. A percentage will go. Where will William Ruto get the votes? The strategy is to try and rig. The only shortcut, the only way out of that is voter protection unit. I've campaigned with Raila, I've campaigned with Kalonzo. There is something lacking in Kalonzo's team. I remember when the late Mutula Kilonzo died, senator, and that time ODM had nominated the daughter, Kathy. Then you know how court operated. She was locked out, and the brother, Mutula Kilonzo Jr., was given the ticket. We were there on the voting day with my team. I was leading a team there sent by Raila Odinga. And we were going to polling stations on that voting day. You would go to a polling station and you would not find even a wiper agent. The only thing that saved the day on that day was that the Kamba Nation had decided that it was going to be Motola Kalonzo Jr. Another election I participated in was when Memusi was being elected following the death of Nkaiseri. For those who remember, Nkaiseri Joseph was the cabinet secretary for Interior when he passed on. He had been an ODM member. He was poached, then forced to resign, then took over that role. A by-election was occasioned there. My friends, the government was determined to win that seat at all costs. By midnight, the seat was going. It took the Maasais to say, no, it's not going to happen. So which means some of this outcome can actually be stopped. The rigging schemes can actually be stopped through elaborate vote protection unit. That's the fact. Do you think Rigathi can, because Rigathi is a former administrator, do you think Kalonzo can craft an elaborate vote protection unit across the entire country? I'm still doubtful. But if they can do that, they're safe. Number 3, and I'm seeing Rigathi Gachagua messing up big time, is that these guys should actually be able to win the support of 2 individuals, Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna, to their side. If they were to win the support of Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino, the 2, to their side, then the 2 have the potential of disrupting ODM, especially in Nairobi and in Luo Nyanza and in Luo Nation. The 2 can actually command between 20% and 30% of ODM loyal supporters. That's the honest truth. Because they'll have the sympathy, there's going to be that potential, which means they must be figured and factored in somewhere. If Kalonzo is the presidential candidate, the alternative will be to either have Babu Owino or Sifuna as a running mate. If Sifuna becomes Kalonzo Musyoka as a running mate, then Babu Owino becomes the gubernatorial candidate, their gubernatorial candidate in Nairobi. But Rigathi is very clear that the Kikuyus must take the Nairobi gubernatorial seat. Yeah, so that's the challenge. And therefore, the 2 might not find anything to take them to that side. But if they can do that, they'll be safe. Number 4 is proper communication strategy. So far, Rigathi Gachagua is doing so well, taking William Ruto head on, countering William Ruto. The other day, you saw William Ruto crying in a church that Rigathi Gachagua and the team took 4 hours talking about them, while they have been talking about Rigathi Gachagua in their rallies. If you study the political environment today, the way Rigathi Gachagua is responding to these guys, they have adopted a strategy of not attacking Rigathi Gachagua. So Rigathi Gachagua, if he can sustain that, good for them. But they must come up with a proper communication strategy which paints William Ruto as a black sheep. Right? And sustain it. Number 5, and I think this is one of the biggest challenge for them, Uhuru Kenyatta factor. Between Rigathi Gachagua and Uhuru Kenyatta, who is controlling Mount Kenya today? If they can answer that question, and figure out how to lock Uhuru Kenyatta out of the mountain, because it's clear Uhuru Kenyatta is out also to revenge against Rigathi Gachagua. So they must lock Uhuru Kenyatta out of the mountain. Because I'm also looking at something from far. Ruto might actually decide to sponsor a serious and credible presidential candidate from the mountain. Let us just talk. Ndindi Nyoro has fallen out with William Ruto. The deep state can surround Ndindi and look for Babu Owino and convince Ndindi to be the presidential candidate and Babu to be the deputy, in the understanding that Ndindi is going to win the Kikuyu vote and Babu is going to win the Luo vote. At the end of the day, they'll split those votes. Do you think there's anything that can stop Ndindi from running? I don't think so. So they must be very strategic, especially as far as Mount Kenya presidential candidate is concerned. Uhuru can sponsor presidential candidate from the mountain. Ruto himself can sponsor Ndindi Nyoro without even them knowing, even Ndindi himself not knowing. And lastly, our Kenyan politics is tribal, which means proper tribal mobilization is required. And this is going to be key for Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo. I'm 100% sure that the Kalenjin nation are not going to be really excited about William Ruto's re-election. So they might not turn up to register for votes and also on the voting day, because they are comfortable and they don't see anything much. But for Kalonzo Musyoka and Rigathi Gachagua, they must get out there and mobilize their communities, mobilize Kikuyus and mobilize Kambas to register as voters. Apart from registering as voters, to ensure that they turn up in large numbers. That is going to help them in this simple way. Raila Odinga's strongholds, like in Kisumu County where I come from, the moment Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot, some people will go to vote, but some people will not see the need of waking up to go and vote. And that should be good news to this team. Because we are going to talk of Ruto banking on Raila Odinga's support base, but there's a voter apathy in Raila Odinga's support base because Raila is not on the ballot. So William Ruto will get vote there, but not as high as expected. On the other side, if they mobilize their votes and real numbers turn up to vote, ladies and gentlemen, that's how they can stop William Ruto. Not bragging in church, the way Rigathi Gachagua is doing. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. I hope you've enjoyed the video up to this stage. If you've reached here, please, you know what we normally do in the comment section. Tukutane hapo. I'll comment on all your comments for those who will say present, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.